Good evening, everybody. So this is Dr. Serge. Today, I wanted to talk about an article that I recently saw. I was really excited, actually, when I saw the title. As you can see here, the title is "A More Plant-Based Diet May Improve Cardiovascular Health." I mean, we all know that we should be eating more vegetables, more fruits, more fresh food. And we all know that it's really important, it's really critical to get the optimum health. But as I started reading the article and the study in question, I was like, again, another study about this molecule. So I wanted to debunk a little bit this confusion, because there is a lot of confusion when it comes to this study and other studies that have been coming out for the last 10 years or so, because they claim that if you eat meat, eggs, you increase your risk of cardiovascular issues like heart disease or stroke and so on. So as you start reading the articles, you can see here, as the subtitle is, a new study explored the relationship between TMAO, which is a metabolite produced by our gut bacteria, meat and egg consumption, and cardiovascular health. So in this study, when you look into this, that was done by Dr. Spence, a professor at the Roberts Research Institute. So they look at what we call trimethylamine N oxide, which is short for TMAO. So they found that when you consume eggs or meat, your gut flora produce this metabolite, and this metabolite is being released into the bloodstream and the lymphatic system, and has been shown to cause all kinds of problems into the body. At least that's what they claim. But there's a lot of confusion here. It's not necessarily the meat the problem. It might be the gut flora, for example. I say that because when you look at other studies that look at the same molecule, they actually do not see the same problem, the same side effects. And these studies was done initially on animals, okay, on mice. And you all know mice stands on this. So when you use mice or rats or all kind of animal labs to make the studies, you may not find what is actually going on in the human body, because it's two different organisms, right? We have different gut flora, we have different diet, different lifestyle, and so on and so on. So that study doesn't really look at the quality of the gut flora initially, before they start the study in people. Okay, so a lot of people, as you may know, have gut issues. So they have parasite, they have candida, they have all kinds of things going on. So those factors actually can be misleading and can affect the results of the study. So I wanted to look at another study, really, really interesting study that was done some time ago. So they took people, it was about 50 adults, and they divided those people into different categories. And we can see on this graph the control at the bottom. So they look at the production and excretion of TMAO, okay, which is the molecule we just talked about that they claim that can cause cancer and heart disease and all kinds of problems. So that was really exciting, because they actually measure how much is being excreted by the body. So as the control, so they gave people what they call a light breakfast. Okay, we don't really know exactly what it is, but everybody will eat that, what they call the light breakfast. It could have been a piece of toast, it could have been a muffin, and so on and so on. So let's say for tonight, we say that it was a piece of toast. So everybody would eat toast, and then they would add to the toast different foods. They would add beef, apple, banana, and so on, all the way to tomatoes. And then they will measure the excretion of TMAO in those people who eat the foods. And as we can see on the chart, so the control people had about 150 millimoles after 8 hours, okay? And beef was half of it. Apples was even lower, bananas lower, peas were higher. Okay, based on different foods, we can see the excretion and production of TMO by the body. Okay, so this is really interesting because in this case, beef was really, really low, as we can see, half of the control. So that means that the body doesn't really make TMO from beef. Okay, actually, peas would be something to avoid, not beef. So if you scroll down, you can see they look at different meats. Okay, you can see, right? So we had the beef, the same thing, same experiment. So they just use different types of meat. Chicken was the same thing as beef. We all know that chicken is healthier for the body than beef. But chicken and beef have the same amount of production of TMO. Okay, duck was lower, lamb liver was higher, and pork was a bit higher than beef and chicken. Okay, so that was really, really interesting. So it seems that animal protein in general don't seem to really lead to a lot of TMO production by the body. And then if you go down again, this different graph that study did, we can see they try different sources of protein. We have bread, we have biscuit, we have eggs, we have cheese. Eggs, specifically, more or less the same thing as the control. Milk was lower. Beef, again, is lower. Mushroom is higher. Really interesting, right? So mushroom, we know it's really powerful when it comes to health. A lot of nutrition, really, really good to boost the immune system. But when you eat mushroom, you have more TMO production, which would mean that if you eat mushroom, you have a higher risk of heart problems or cancer. Doesn't make sense, right? It just does not. And specifically, I wanted to show you this graph. This is really, really good because it looked at seafoods. We all know that seafood, fish, really, really healthy for us, right? If you look at the Japanese, for example, the diet are primarily based on seafood and fish and rice and vegetables. So if you look at the control, the beef, and then all those different seafoods, clams, crab, octopus, squid, skate, all those seafoods lead to a lot more production of TMO, which at the end of the day should mean that if you eat these foods, you have a higher risk of heart problem. And we all know that Japanese, for example, do not have heart problem. They live the longest on the planet. They are the healthiest on the planet. So when you look at those studies that claim that TMO is bad for you, it leads to cardiovascular issues, cancer, and so on, they are completely wrong at the end of the day because they don't look at potentially the misleading factor, which is the gut. So when you have bad gut flora, like I said, parasite, yeast, and so on, it can really throw off the results. At the end of the day, TMO is a metabolite produced by the gut bacteria that doesn't seem to really impact or lead to health problems. If that was the case, all those populations who eat a lot of seafoods and fish will have more problems than people eating beef. Okay, this is fish. I was talking about fish, halibut, haddock, cod, tuna, sardines, swordfish, mackerel, herrings, halibut. All those fish, as you can see, all of the fish they tested had a higher content production of TMO than beef. So if beef is bad, fish, seafood is even worse. So we shouldn't eat any of those. And chicken, because chicken had the same effect on the body, on the TMO production as beef. So it just doesn't make sense at the end of the day because a lot of these studies, if not all of those studies, were done on mice. This one is done in humans. So this is one of the really, really rare studies that look at this hypothesis that TMO production by meat and eggs, for example, lead to cardiovascular disease. So they tested this on human. And as we can see here, they didn't see any problems at all. Actually, they demonstrated that Beef is not a problem. Chicken is not a problem. Egg is not a problem. If they were a problem, we need to stop eating seafood and fish. Okay, so don't believe what they say when you're hearing the news, man. If you eat red meat because of TMO production or eggs, like they claim in the original studies I showed, it's totally wrong. They are wrong. It's done in animal models, in mice, in the lab, which cannot be replicated in humans, as we can see here. So don't be afraid of eating some good quality grass-fed organic beef, eggs, and so on. It can be part of a healthy diet along with seafood and fish. And we know that fish is actually protect us from cardiovascular problem. See how it doesn't make sense, the whole thing. So if you have any question, please let me know on this. Thank you guys for watching tonight. God bless you all.